All right, everybody. We've got ourselves Indy NXT in the wet, kind of, sort of, at Virginia International Raceway. The full course, the traditional version of Virginia International here. Big puddle splashes out here in full force tonight. Looks like we're in for a damp race at the very least. Looks like we've got most runners out on slicks. And we will continue to watch through practice here. A lot of familiar names once again in the field here tonight. We got Andre Castro here, Jarrett Corey. Mitchell Welker makes an appearance. We got Nick Sudik out here, Ty Keela, Chris Wetz, Gerard Wakefield, JD Emery McGrory, Tyler Langenberg, and Chris Campanale. I've gotten to race him a couple times in the road to Indy, as we see Andre Castro barely keeping it on the track here through the puddle splashes. We will see how people get on in practice here, or qualifying rather. Apologies for that. I had to swap to the correct overlay to get push to pass, because I'm sure we'll see a good bit of that at some point if it's enabled. All right, we got Andre Castro out on track. Get the pylon out here. We'll hop on board with Castro. Oh, he is stopping. We'll hop on board with whoever we can find. Who can we find out there on the speedway? Jarrett Corey, is he out? He's out there. See if we can get to him. On board the number 2 machine of Jarrett. Heading down first of many long straightaways here at Virginia International. That looks like that might be an off for him on his out lap. This may be his flying lap at this point, not quite sure. See a number of runners opting for the wet tire. Jarrett opting to warm those slicks down the backstretch here as he heads into this turn at the end of the backstretch here. Very tricky to get the car slowed up for this corner here. Got ourselves some puddles scattered about closer to the edges of the track, which is arguably where you don't really want them, because by that point you're getting very, very, very close to going off the track. See Jarrett hit us with a 1:44.6. Don't believe that lap counted due to an off track that we saw. We'll ride on board him again here. Bit of a skid through the puddle there as we work towards the next straight here. Really having to work the car around this damp track. Little over 3,000 strength of field here tonight. I believe it's in the neighborhood of 3,200 and change. Another solid entry into the next books as we see Jarrett go off once again. That will likely invalidate both his qualifying laps, so he will start about as deep in the field as he dare. See if we can get to Nick Sudik heading towards his second flying lap. Right on board with him as he comes off the final corner. Justin Grott sets the first valid time with a 1:39.6. Welker not too far off of that with a 140.02. Believe this is the first time we've seen a properly damped track in an official session for any of the Road to Indy cars. I believe IndyCar we may have had one at some point, but I don't recall where it would have been. I know we recently had an entry in the Warriors for Peace IndyCar League at Mid-Ohio, I believe last week, where it was still a fairly damp track. I don't think it was properly wet or raining, but there was a good bit of puddle coverage on the track. Bit of a moment here for Sadiq at Oak Tree. Heading down the back stretch. Towards that very tricky uphill left-right chicane complex. Still got about 3 minutes remaining in qualifying. We shall see. Justin Garat improves on his time, as does Mitch Welker. Looks like getting a time in is doing wonders for these cars so far, as we see Sadiq go to 12th fastest. Hop over to our blimp camera high in the sky. Around the Virginia International, we can hear some engine noises off in the distance. Number of heavy hitters not yet having taken time, as we see Castro shoot in a time up to 6th. Benjamin Fior, Chris Wetz, Tyler Langenberg have not set times, alongside Jarrett, who I believe invalidated both his laps with off tracks. We will see if anyone improves through the tail of this session. Ty Keeley gets a time on the board. Right on board with Castro if he's still moving. Looks like he will no longer be moving. Chris Wetz sits stationary in the pit lane, so we will head back to the blimp. Large track here at Virginia International Raceway. Believe it's a 3+ mile course here. One of North America's most noteworthy road courses for certain. Hosts a number of notable sports car events, namely on the IMSA calendar with the GT cars, and I believe GT4 and TCR has a round here. And we will get into the race with a grid. So on the pole here tonight will be Justin Garat with a 138.3. Alongside him will be Mitch Welker with a 138.772. Starting third will be Gerard Wakefield with a 139.441. Alongside him, Chris Campanale will be lining up fourth. Our winner last week at Spa from the top split, Alex Donka, will start fifth alongside Andre Castro in sixth. Benjamin Fior will line up 7th alongside Rafael Leon in 8th. Tyler Bird will be 9th alongside Art Karts. Now that's a fun name. In the 10th spot. Colby Phillips will line up 11th with Alex Warkis in 12th. Alex Koraiba will be 13th with Doug Hotzel in 14th. Maximilian Bianco will be 15th alongside Rogue Racing's Ty Keela in 16th. Jeremy M.D. McRory will make another appearance here tonight on the top split in 17th alongside Fiercely Forward's Nicholas Sudik. Jarrett Corey will be, I believe, the first car not to take time in 19th. Chris Wetz will be 20th. And rounding out our field tonight will be Tyler Langenberg in 21st, Alex Dino in 22nd, Dave Tuda in 23rd, and Zachary Livengood in 24th. Back to the front of the field here. Get on to Justin here. 13-lap event here tonight for the next series, live on P1. If you want to support our coverage monetarily, we have a donation link in the description alongside super chat donations if you feel the need to give us a bit of your money to support what we do here on the channel for the community. And we will watch the cars leave the pit lane. Matt Wagner chiming in with the track is 3.27 miles. Okay, I wanted to say it was 3 miles and change, so there we go. We got a more accurate figure for that guesstimation. Pace car will lead the field around. We see a good scattering of puddles throughout this track. I don't believe we're on the hook for additional precipitation. I believe the track will just be wet. So that will be something that these drivers, as we saw throughout qualifying, that they have to combat, is getting these cars around those puddles to where they're not aquaplaning, going off anywhere. See another Lucky Charms car here at the front of the field with Justin. We'll observe a number of fun liveries throughout the field here tonight, I'm sure. As we work mostly single file through those tight, twisting corners in the open portion of this race. This course. Head under this Michelin bridge. Heading down what would be, I guess, the second of 3 rather long straightaways here. Kind of, at VIR. This one has a bit more twists and turns in it, but it still ultimately operates like a straightaway. Pretty much flat out, especially in dry conditions. That might not be the case, given where some of the puddles are here tonight. We'll just have to ride on board and find out at some point throughout this race. This is one of those tracks with a very, very long pace lap, starting from the pit lane, working all the way around this 3.27 mile facility. We're now making it towards that iconic hairpin corner that formerly had an oak tree on the inside of it, hence the name of the corner, Oak Tree. We salute you, Oak Tree, that is no longer there. Now this is part of the front stretch for the South Course. You'll see the pit lane for that course right there. There will be a access road looking thing to the left side of your screen, I believe. Might turn to the right before we get to it. That is the turn 1 with a very fitting name for what you'll probably be saying when you turn into it, but it is not G-rated, so I will not say it. I believe it'll be right about where those motel little pop-up signs and the cones are. That first turn on the South Course. It's part of the grand course layout of this track as well, which I believe only lengthens this facility to a little over 4 miles with all the corners plugged in. Heading down this back straightaway towards the treacherous left, right, uphill, downhill. Very tight through this corner complex as we head down towards Hog Pen, which I believe is one of these corners at the bottom of the hill here. I believe it's a right-hander. The pace car will lead them around said corners on the tail end of this lap. And we will see what these Indy NXT top split drivers have for a damp Virginia International Raceway. Pace car's off. Justin Garrett in control of the field. Wastes no time getting up to speed. He launches away. We're green at VIR. We'll hop back a little further through the field once we make it through the first corner here. Garrett leads over Welker. Seems mostly clean so far. We'll hop back to the battle for third with Gerard Wakefield and Chris Campanelli alongside Andre Castro working here. Immediately jump to gaps because that's going to be likely where we see things. Sudik down to 18th. He must have had a moment at some point. Falling a couple cars down the order. Back to the front here. Hop back to Gerard Wakefield. Now up to third. Hounded by Chris Campanelli. Oh! Around goes Wakefield. Into the wall hard. That'll be night done for Wakefield. Started good near the front of the field. Just hit the wrong piece of asphalt at the wrong time. That will move Castro up to the bottom step of the podium as we watch Welker and Garrett pull further away. I'm suspecting one of those puddles heading through that kind of twisty section down the back straight just caught Wakefield, and around the car goes, and it's so hard to save these things, especially with kind of that difference in grip between each tire, and that's why you see these drivers trying their absolute best to get the whole car lined up through a puddle if they can. So we watch Rafael Leon go for a ride off the nose. If I believe that was Benjamin Fior heading towards Hog Pen. We've got another car around. That's Alexander Karaiba around off the final corner. Move back to the front of the field. We'll see how this field shakes out. We'll hop back with Colby Phillips in 8th. Now rides 9th as Workus makes his way by. Cars all over the track on that opening lap. Got another car off rejoining there. That's Donka, our winner from last week. Here another car off in the background. That's Sudik's involved. We'll see if there's another car that's with him. I believe that's going to be... Got a black machine off there. I believe that's Jeremy MD McGrory, so he must have been involved in that incident. We'll hop back to the front of the field. Garrett leads over Welker, 1.3 seconds. They're on the push-to-pass down the back straightaway. Garrett stays on it. See Castro hop on the button over Campanale. Let's ride on board with Jarrett Corey. He's made quick work of the good bulk of this field so far. Starting deep in this field. We'll get on the cockpit with him as he heads down the back straightaway here. Real slow down to first gear. Oh! Big moment for Corey. He holds on to it. Loses a couple spots. But he'll stay forward. That'll be the Rogue Racing Machine of Ty Keela in that Lucky Charms car just ahead of him now. Got a car off there. Another car off there. These puddles. Corey's going to go around. No, he saves it again. Quick hands from Jarrett Corey. We saw a number of cars spun down the front straightaway there. We're not quite sure who those were. We'll try to catch on to those as soon as we can, but I think we need to get off of Jarrett's onboard here and move on to another car. We'll hop on board with, or out to Art Karts running 6th. Try to get an idea of who those cars might have been. I'm suspecting Alex Donka, Tyler Langenberg, Alex Dino, all facing some trouble there. They're at the bottom of the order now. Closest battle on track, I believe, will be Andre Castro onto Chris Campanelli here. This is just ahead of Art running 6th. Ty Keeler's made quick work of the field. He's up to 8th. Battling his way through this early attrition here. See Castro and crew navigate Oak Tree. Head down the back straightaway. They're all on the button. We'll hop back to Jarrett Corey here. He's at the tail end of a battle here. I believe that's Doug Hoisel and Tyler Bird here at the front. I believe Hoisella here is in a Is this a Braun GP livery? I didn't realize they had sponsors ever on that car, but that appears to be what this is. It's possible I'm mistaking this for something that it isn't. Looks like the Braun GP car from 2009 or so. We'll see Maximilian take a move to the inside here, move him up to 9th. Move back up to Castro, hunting down Campanelli for the bottom step of the podium here. Oh, Campanelli's around. Castro. He loses some spots, but he stays going. Campanelli gets going again. That'll move Castro down to 5th. Put Benjamin Fior on the bottom step of the podium. Art Karts runs 4th now. Moves Ty Keela up to 7th. Caleb Brashear chiming in chat saying he's glad he didn't do this one. I agree with you. I was anticipating dodging this one anyway, but seeing this now, I am especially glad that I am not keen to run the VIR in the wet this week. This looks like an absolute trip. This track's hard enough in the dry. You add a bit of water to it, it is absolutely a mess out there for these drivers. Now we have 19 cars still listed on the lead lap here, down to Zach Livingood in 19th. Not sure if he's in the pit lane or not. Alex Donka is in the pit lane with a meatball flag alongside Rafael Leon and Chris Wetz. They must have had some sort of contact early. It's a slip, not a trip. There we go. Kyle Clenworth with the... Oh, we got a car around in the back. That's Maximilian again. He's already got left side pod damage. He's around in the grass down the front stretch here. We'll jump back to somebody. Closest battle on the field is still Castro trying to hunt back down Art Karts here. Absolute complete mayhem out here through this very quick, dangerous track. Gosh darn it. No, I do not. Don't believe I do. Okay. Well, we got that sorted out. We'll catch back on board. Castro's made the pass on Karts. He's up to 4th again. We'll see if he can work his way back to Benjamin Fior before the end of this one. Okie dokie. So we are now riding with Karts in 5th. We'll run through our top 10 real quick here. We've got Justin Garrett running 1st. He's up to a now 2-second lead over Mitchell Welker in 2nd. Benjamin Fior runs 3rd. Got Andre Castro 4th. Art Karts runs 5th. Chris Campanale leads a train of 3 cars between himself, Colby Phillips, and Ty Keela. Colby Phillips is missing a whole right side of his car, so he's nursing that thing home. Jarrett Corey runs 9th. We see Doug Hoisel in 10th behind him. Tyler Bird runs 11th. David Tuta, we haven't talked about him tonight. He's running 12th. Alex Caraiba has recovered to 13th after an early off. Maximilian Bianco is still trudging around this field in his machine. I believe the left side pod's missing on his car. That would be the case. Got Alex Dino in his number 17 here running 15th. Langenberg runs 16th. Jury MD McGrory is still out there running 17th. Zachary Livengood in his Costco car runs 18th. Nick Sudik currently sits 19th and is the last car still operating out on the course in 19th. And we will move back to the battle for Tuta and I believe that's Caraiba looking to his outside. They'll head down the back straightaway here. So that'll move Kariba up to 12th. Andre Castro has slowly started to reel back in Benjamin Fior. So likely be the last spot he's able to make up tonight unless there's a catastrophic error from Welker or Garat. We'll knock on wood on their behalf because this has been quite the doozy as it is. I don't know if you can hear my knocking, but there's wood being knocked on for them. So Deke's up a couple spots now as Langenberg finds trouble. So we'll watch Castro navigate the second of the long straightaways here. Heading around through Oak Tree as we watch Fior run wide. He stays out of the wall. Castro up to third. Fior will rejoin just behind Art Karts. Castro will take the bottom step at the podium here. So we'll move back to a battle that is likely brewing between, well, who? Who do we got? Jarrett Corey's under attack from Chris Campanale. Campanale is going to look to the outside, which will turn into the inside at some point. Corey will stay ahead. They'll navigate the tricky downhill section of this course. Looks like Karts and Fior are going back and forth now. We'll hop on to Karts' car here now. Fior will make his way back around Karts. Has Welker now properly taken the lead? Uh-oh. I'm suspecting connection issues, perhaps. No, Garat's in the pit lane. What happened to him? That'll move Castro up to the second place on the podium, but what happened to Garat? He's in the pit lane. Oh! Okay, so we're working the first couple of corners. Garat hits some puddles here. Works his... Oh, just a little too much puddling into the wall. And that's basic. That's night done for our race leader. We'll hop back on the board to live here and get back to Art Karts. See if we can find ourselves another battle here on track. We've got Tuta and Horzel. Tuta has made the pass, work him into the top 10 now. This is quite the chain of events here. Believe this will be our closest battle on track now. We'll try to recap the top 10 here at the top of the lap once we get Tuta across the line here. Get 2 laps to go here because we are... Oh, there's a car off there. Believe that's Hoyzel again, or is that... That's Colby Phillips in the 11 machine. All right, so we got Mitch Welker leading over Andre Castro, who's about a little over 12 seconds back. Welker's on an island all on his own. Andre Castro runs second, about 5 seconds ahead of Benjamin Fior. Was then followed by Art Karts in 4th. Ty Keela rounding out your top 5 in his road racing machine. Jarrett Corey has worked his way from basically the back of the field up to 6th. He hunts down Ty Keela. We'll see if that transpires before the end of this race. Chris Campanale has stayed inside the top 10 all night despite the difficulties. Alex Kariba, despite early difficulties in this race, runs 8th. David Tuta will be 9th. Doug Hoyzel will round out the top 10. Tyler Bird in 11th. Colby Phillips 12th. Alex Dino a bit further back in 13th. Langenberg is around. Believe that's Zachary Livingood behind him. They're ahead of Nick Sudik, who's a ways down the road now, one lap down to Mitch Welker and crew. We'll hop to Jarrett Corey. Give him his due. He's made great progress through this field here tonight. Haven't gone over push-to-pass figures yet, but Corey's on one of the lower amounts so far, sitting on 57 seconds relative to his compatriots. Campanale is down to 27 now. And Hoyzel is out of button, so he's used it all up. Mitch Welker, your leader, at 82. We'll stay with Corey here for a little while. Actually, yeah, we'll hop on board with Corey here and see if he can do a little chasing of Mr. Ty Keela. Working that back straightaway here. One of two. Now Castro, ooh, an off for Jarrett. He stays in control. Not overreacting under the mistake for him. He stays pointed in the right direction. As Campanale is in tow behind him. We'll hop to him real quick. That's a second gap between those two cars. Corey remains ahead. Castro has cut 1 second down into Mitch Welker's lead, but we've got only a couple laps to go as they get 3 to go this time by. Not sure that's going to turn into a position gain, but it's good to see Castro regain some of that ground after getting caught behind Campanale's spin earlier on in this race. We'll stay on board with Jarrett until about the same portion we picked him up last time around. Then we'll see if maybe Ty Keela's got something for us as he's looking to hunt down Art Karts for 4th. Ooh, big moment for Corey there. Campanale's here now, right on the gearbox. We'll hop to him for a little bit. Watch this battle unfold from Chris's point of view. Treacherous track out here in the Indy NXT IL-15. Surprised to see a number of drivers still gaming for that, or gunning for that push to pass through the puddles. As Jarrett will get back a bit further ahead now, so we'll hop to Ty Keela. Watch as he attempts to chase down Art Karts, his rogue racing machine. He's looking to stay on the button. He's got a bit more push to pass, about another 17 seconds from Keela to Karts. Karts on 29, Keela on 46. We'll come to 2 to go at the line. I believe Welker might already be there as we see the lap tick over. Keela's made up a good bit of time on Art here. Little wide here. See if that costs a ton of time. It looks like it might, just a little bit. We'll see if he can regain that ground throughout the course of this next lap here. Corey's now within a second. Campanale's right in tow on him. So we'll hop back to an outboard camera to get a view of that here now. You see Ty Keela ahead here. Jarrett Corey will enter the picture there alongside Campanale. This is for the last spot inside the top 5. Corey applying that pressure. He'll look. Campanale will also take a peek. They'll train down the backstretch. Everybody on the push to pass here. Campanale is going to run out. He'll be out of push to pass here, coming to 1 to go. Corey will make the move. Taikila will hop back into line. White flag in the air for Mitch Welker. Campanale is going to look here again. Taikila mounts the defense. Campanale still on the gearbox, more or less. So we work our way through Hog Pen. Oh, there's a car off there. That's the 6 machine of Benjamin Fior. Benjamin Fior's around. That'll move Art Karts to the podium. There's still a shot for one of these cars that we've been watching to catch Karts here. He runs third. We'll ride back with Corey here to see if he can mount a charge here for the bottom step of the podium. 2 seconds back now. He's starting to wiggle, coming through those puddles. Love seeing that big water plume off the corner there. Really shows just how much standing water impacts the trail of these cars. Can only imagine visibility from the inside of cars trailing such a thing. Now it's going to come down to the last corner. We're going to watch on board from Taikila's point of view here. Mitch Welker has taken the checkered flag. Andre Castro will also take second. We'll watch from Keela here. See if he can mount a charge at any point down the front stretch here. He's just trying to hold on to it at this point, I'm sure. Art Karts will take the bottom step of the podium with Jarrett Corey in 4th. Taikila 5th. We'll hop back to Karaiba, who will cross the line in 6th. Yes. Benjamin Fior will be 7th just behind him. David Tuta, coming out of the final corner now, will be 8th. We'll catch Campanale, make it out of the final corner. He'll finish 9th here tonight. Tyler Bird will be rounding out your top 10. And we'll catch Doug Hoisel, do the same, round the final corner, head down the front straightaway. And finish here in 11th. Colby Phillips, I believe this is one of the cars that's missing one of its side pods. He'll round out top 12. JDM McGrory is working his way down the back straightaway. He's the last car on the lead lap, I believe. That would be the case, yes. We've got Langenberg. He's still working his way around the track 1 lap down. And then everybody else did not make it to the finish. So we have about half the cars making the finish. A little over. Under their own power, hopefully. And we will get whoever we can get out here for interviews very shortly. So we'll ride with Art here, see if he comes in. See who we get tonight. Got Mitch Welker down there for his win. See if anybody else opts to join him. We'll give a couple minutes. So I know we'll just have to see if, I know Andre is aware of our broadcast. We've interviewed him a couple times now. Doop-a-doop-a-doop-boop. Don't think we're going to get Art, but he finishes 3rd here tonight. Props to him. The 23 car of, I believe, 24. Double check that real quick. Yes, the 23 car of 24. Props to him for a 2nd place finish. Or sorry, a 3rd place finish here tonight. We'll get Mitch Welker up on here in about a couple seconds here just to make sure that nobody's coming on in. Otherwise, we'll work our way down the podium as opposed to up to, if Andre opts to make his way in. But shout out again to Art Karts for his podium finish here tonight. We'll get a outboard shot of Mitch Welker if we can find his car He was so far ahead of the field, we might have to rewind a good while. Here we go. There's a car that's blasting down the front stretch. Let's get a little bit more time here. All right, we got Mitch Welker there. Get him on up here. Mitch, Jacob Collins of the P1 Broadcasting Booth. You got me?
Yeah, I gotcha.
Well, it paid to be near the front and stay out of trouble, seemingly. You kind of inherited the lead at some point throughout that race from, I believe, Justin Garrott, who hit a puddle and smacked the inside tire barrier and ended his night. So kind of talk us through navigating this very difficult VIR course, especially with the puddles scattered about.
Yeah, really weird track surface, I guess, condition generation there. No rain, but a lot of puddling around the apexes. So the line completely changed in several parts of the track. There were a couple spots you could get away with clipping the puddle just a little bit, as I think Justin was doing like an alien type job of driving over the puddles, especially down towards Hogpen. I don't know how he did it. I should have kept the sim open and tried to see what was going on there. I didn't understand. But as for me, yeah, just really altered the line to stay out of the puddles, just memorize where they were, and drove as fast as I could on the dry track that I had, and stayed out of trouble, like you said, and it paid off.
Yeah, it was interesting to see people kind of navigate that slightly differently throughout the field of trying to either work through the puddles or work around them. We saw a number of cars have really big moments or big offs throughout the field trying to kind of navigate especially the front stretch with the puddle scatter pretty much everywhere. There's about every lap or so you'd see about a quarter dozen cars scattered down the front stretch trying to figure out where they were going to go. So do you feel like that there was any major changes to how you had to approach maybe some of the in-car tools, maybe the brake bias, kind of working through backing the corners up maybe to navigate the puddles a bit differently, or was it kind of just memorizing them and operating business as usual and just working around them?
Yeah, the second part, the second option for sure. I didn't change any tools besides brake bias back a little bit. Mechanical grip was a little bit down because the track was green, so the front grip wasn't there for the braking that I needed. Just pulled back the bias a couple of clicks, but otherwise I drove it like a dry race, just with a weird line.
Well, you made the dry, weird line work. You put a pretty good gap to the rest of the field at the end of the day. If you've got any shout-outs, friends, family, sponsors you want to give out, now's the time. Win, floor is yours.
Thanks. Shout out to Jared and Nick, who had unfortunate issues in their races. I feel for him, especially Jared, who qualified third, had a great job in qualifying, just caught a spot on the track weird somewhere on, I think in the S's he mentioned, like maybe caught a patch of debris or dirt. Ended up tipping the car around, and then Sudik had a difficult qualifying, and race just kind of spiraled from there, as that can sometimes happen. So feel for them for sure. But thanks to Emily and Zach and the rest of them for cheering me on through the rest of the way. And thanks to you for putting this on, for broadcasting this. I didn't know about this till like a half hour before it started, so pretty cool.
Yeah, we're really glad to get this on the air for everybody to kind of enjoy. It's a bit of a later time slot. We get some more names that we might not normally get in some of our other coverage. So it's been nice to see kind of the mix of all the worlds here, late night here in the Indy NXT Series. So glad to have you out here, Mitch. Hopefully we'll catch you throughout the rest of the season, and you have a good night.
Yeah, thanks. You too.
And that is Mitch Welker, your winner here tonight. And I believe Andre Castro has not decided to make the interview room tonight, but we'll give him his airtime if I can find my camera controls. Andre Castro finishes second here tonight in the number one machine. I believe he was your points leader going into that. We are going to just take a glance at the point standings, see how they are at the moment. No, Mackenzie Ruin leads the points on 736. That might just be because Castro's points haven't counted yet. We'll just have to see how that kind of shakes out. But I believe Andre Castro will be your points leader over Jarrett Corey come the end of this one, perhaps. I think Mackenzie's got an extra week on people, but we'll just have to see how that shakes out. But nice to see everybody out here again tonight. Good mix of talent from all across the sim as per usual. We want to thank everybody for tuning in to our Monday night coverage here on P1 throughout the night. The present, the future, and the past, as we've dubbed it. In some ways, I guess present, past, future. We've got IndyCar and then Onyx with the Lotus 79s, and then Indy NXT here on the road courses for its inaugural season. Very much glad to get this on the air on P1 for everybody. Glad that Mitch was able to make it up to the interview room for us here tonight. It's good to see him win. We'll run through the field here tonight as we'll just put Jarrett's car as our backdrop here as we'll run through our finishing order tonight. There we go. Mitch Welker, your winner here over Andre Castro. Art Karts will round out the podium. Jarrett Corey will be 4th with Ty Keela in his Rogue Racing machine in 5th. You've got Alexander Karaiba in 6th, Benjamin Fiore in 7th, David Tutai in 8th, Chris Campanale kept it pointed the right way for long enough to stay inside the top 10. He'll finish 9th in his number 10 car tonight. Tyler Bird will be 10th. Doug Hoisel will be 11th. Colby Phillips in 12th. Jeremy M.D. McGrory, your last car on the lead lap, in 13th. Tyler Langenberg finishes 1 lap down in 14th. Alex Dino, 15th. Nicholas Sudik, 16th. Rough night for him all across the board tonight between the IndyCar Open race at Phoenix and this one here at VIR. Zachary Livengood will finish 17th in his number 22 machine. Justin Garat, the leader by a long shot early on in this race, encountered the puddle and went to that tire barrier, and it was night over for him. He'll finish 18th. Maximilian Bianco, we saw him with a number of offs. Heavy damage on, I believe, the left side of his car. He'll finish in 19th. And our winner last time out at Spa, Alex Donka, will be 20th on the grid tonight. Then we've got, rounding out the field, Alex Warkis in 21st, Gerard Wakefield in 22nd, who Mitch mentioned in his interview. Rough night for him. Rafael Leon in 23rd, and the teammate of Andre Castro, 24th for Chris Wetz. Want to thank everybody for tuning in to our coverage here of Indy Next from VIR. We are at a track next week. Portland in the dry. That'll be fun. The turn 1 at that place will be pure chaos, as it always is. It's basically the Monza T1 of the West, or I guess of the North American hemisphere. So we hope to catch you out there for our coverage of that and everything else we've got going on throughout the week here on P1. And so all those that do the difficult jobs that let us do all the fun things that we do, we thank you. Take care. Have a good night.